Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on today's video. What we have here is cool, and I'll tell you why it's cool. First off, I love the body style of these cars. The fact that Chevrolet was scared to put the 454, the 396 in anything later than 70, and Pontiac was willing to put in the 455. I don't know how all that got passed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who was in the mix, whatever. But these cars in Super Duty form were legendary for power. This one here, beautifully restored, professionally reproduced, and just cool. I don't know why. I love the decals on these cars. Maybe it's because of my horrible hairstyle. But I love the air scoops. I love the front and rear spoilers. The Honeycomb wheel may be the best looking muscle car wheel out there. And I'm, you know, everybody has their flavor. And I don't have a particular flavor. You know, maybe I'm a little more Mopar guy than others. Don't say anything bad or negative about it, but I do love all cars. But I love these cars here. And when I fire this car up for you, I don't need to say another word about it because it is badass. We just freshly rebuilt the engine, transmission super heavy duty, and this thing will smoke the tires. Not that I would know, but I have heard that this thing will smoke the tires all the way up the street. Regardless of whether I have first-hand knowledge or not, all I need to do is start it for you, and you'll know. All right, so let's take a peek at what we're talking about. Cameo white paint, the blue callouts, blue seat belts in there with a white interior, blue dash and carpets. It looks really, really nice. Honeycomb wheels, white letter radials, scoops and spoilers. We talked about that. The one thing we didn't do, it's really hard to do on white cars, is you can see how shiny it is in the video, and I like to try to show the reflection in here. I'm not sure whether this will show up okay or not, whether you can see the words in here. Just white cars are very hard to with white paper. But anyway, very, very nice paint, and I can tell you, I can see what time it is in the paint, and I think that as you know that, especially the video part of it, it makes a big difference in just looking at pictures. The one thing I did want to tell you is this piece right here has a couple small cracks in it. We ordered a new one. It's out being painted, and I didn't have the decal, so I didn't want to put it all on without the decal, but that will come with that new piece on there, and that will be all done. Okay? All right, so kind of the last run of the front ends of these cars in the 74 vintage, plus with the SD, Super Duty 455. They've made a lot of room inside this engine. Has ram air camshaft in it. You'll see when we open the hood, it's nicely detailed, and let's check that out. All right, let's take a peek under the hood for a second. Okay, we have a couple different air cleaner setups, but what I wanted to show you was, come around here for a second. Nicely detailed here, okay? The reason the block looks so beautifully painted and detailed is because we just rebuilt the engine and put it back in the car. The scoop is part of the hood system and ram air here. We have this dual snorkel air cleaner on here. Typically it has a smaller air cleaner that fits right inside the scoop, and you get this really great fresh air. So if you went to a car show, you might put this one on. If you want just the power, then I'd say put the smaller chrome one back on. It fits up in there and you get all that fresh air. But as we walk around, like, check some of this stuff out. You got your decals that look really nice. The detail is here. You got this right here, Super Duty 455. Power disc brakes, we didn't talk about that. Power steering. These are all things that we forget to ask about when we're looking at muscle cars. You know, you get one of these cars with the drum brakes. They work great the first time, maybe the second time. But if you have a few big heavy stops on the highway or something like that, you could lose some fade in there. So these disc brakes are really nice to have. And when you have these big block GM engines, which are pretty heavy, that power steering makes it really nice to wheel it around. Plus, you look really cool when you drive like this. So I got a whole arm out the window, and I work my wheel like this with my neck like this. And this way, look at that. You see what I'm talking about? All right? You can only do that with power steering. You can't do that with regular stuff. Let's take a peek in the trunk for a minute, and we'll look at some of the Trans Am styling. You know, this right here is the part that really set the difference between the Camaro and the Trans Am. Most people know, even without this emblem in the back, okay, what this car is. It had these cool taillights, spoilers. They just did a really nice job giving it that short deck, long front end kind of muscle car look. And a couple nice little features like the hidden gas cap, so it's not anywhere on the sides to break up the body lines. It's not here in the trunk. It's right there. Okay. All right, so cool. Like, check this out. You may say, this is no big deal, Tone. Why are you bringing this up? Well, I'll tell you why I'm bringing this up. This has a car cover in it and came to us with a car cover. And the reason that's a big deal is if this is really your baby, it's in the garage, you got a car cover on it, and you're going to drive it once in a while. You're going to be able to take it out anytime you want. It could even be a daily driver. Matter of fact, it could have been somebody's daily driver at one time. But right here, you get to see that somebody loved this thing enough that they kept it covered in the garage, and you can see by the condition, it was just beautifully taken care of. Nice fit and finish, nice sounds when it closes. Okay, let's go check out the inside. This is what we call just great looking Pontiac stuff. So for instance, like this, the engine turn dash, which really looks nice, and they add this piece in here. This has an extra set of gauges in it. If you want me to take them out, I'm happy to, but they're buried down here in the console, and they're mechanical gauges, mechanical gauges. Some people like those because they feel like they're more accurate than the original factory gauges. I don't know if they are or they aren't, but I love this dash setup, especially the simple fact that you have an 8,000 RPM tach. It's got a clock inside here. You got full gauges for water and oil. You got 160 mile an hour speedometer. Pontiac for sure thought that this thing was pretty powerful. And here's the cool thing about it. You ready for this? I don't know if you guys remember the Spark-O-Matic cassette player. This right here is a vintage cassette player. Vintage cassette player, Spark-O-Matic. So I have no idea how old it is, but it is old. And I believe once I turn on the key, which I forgot what the heck I did with them, we'll find out if this stuff even works. But you know what? Who even cares if it works? Because you know what? When I start this car and you hear this thing run, you'll get it too. Right here. I don't know if you guys remember this. This is a radial tune suspension. Radials had kind of just come out, and they were truly the greatest invention on a car of its time for drivability, rideability, and things like that. Because when it was cold, those bias tires would just be so crunchy and hard. If they got into a groove on the road, they jerked the car around. The radial tire was the best thing that ever happened to a car, I feel. Anyway, enough of the rambling. How about I fire it up for you so you can hear what it sounds like? You know, in closing up this car, I rambled on about so many cool things. The Honeycomb wheels, the freshly rebuilt motor with a Lanati cam in it, just the white interior, the white outside. This is one cool muscle car. And I gotta tell you what, rolling down the road, people love this car. And sitting at a light, it's as great sounding at idle as it is at wide open throttle, because it just has this great camshaft in it. I don't know, just a really cool car. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited. I get a little emotional about these once in a while. And this one here just kind of stirs that all up. Anyway, if you can find a way to get a really cool Trans Am 455 big block in your life, call us 301-816-1000 and we'll tell you all about it.